Hey, Scandal Squad. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. I hope everybody is having a good day, off to a good start. Don't work too hard today. But y'all, it was some breaking news this morning. I just happened to, y'all, I'm on California time, so just happened to turn over and see the news that Diddy's, one of his attorneys, because you know he has a legal dream team, they are quitting. One guy is Anthony Ricco has quit the case. And now so the headline is that, hold on, let me get the headline. The headline says, and this is in the Sun time. It says, Diddy shocked. Diddy's lawyer sensationally quits rapper's case as he issues mysterious statement saying, I cannot continue. It says Anthony Ricco, which is the black guy, issued a mysterious statement saying he cannot continue. Ricco issued a surprise motion to withdraw from counsel on Friday in New York. The lawyer's message, hold on, let me see if y'all could hear me. Let's see. Hey, good morning, everybody. I'm gonna speak to everybody. I just want to get you guys through this article. It says the lawyer's message to the court included a cryptic message hinting at why he dropped. His motion says, although I have provided Sean Combs with the high level of legal representation expected by the court, under no circumstances can I continue to effectively serve as counsel for Combs. Ricco added, there are sufficient reasons. Now, when I read this part, I know everybody, we want to know, but attorney-client privilege communications, so they're not going to disclose it. When I first read it, I was like, oh, we're not going to be able to know. And I think they refer to it. It says, there are sufficient reasons related to the protections afforded by, attorney-client privilege for brevity in my application for withdrawal as counsel. So he doesn't want to taint the case. So he's not going to disclose in this filing why he wants to quit, right? Because it would be prejudicial. It could harm Diddy's case. So he's not putting it in here. It says, the lawyer also said his decision to leave would allow the music mogul to move forward with the case and start his trial without delay. Diddy is due to start his trial on trafficking and racketeering charges in May. This is a bombshell to me. Okay, so let me say hey to everybody. Hey, happy Friday. Welcome to my co-host Lulu. You guys, please go follow her on YouTube. Thank you for joining me. Lulu's World is smiling. Hey, D-Dot, welcome. Happy Friday. D-Dot is saying, Lulu, what's up, girl? Hey, Michael Miller, happy Friday. Michael is sending a shout out to Lulu, too. D-Dot says, I know I just heard earlier today. Lulu says she's good. She's good, D and you. Y'all, yesterday I was out with a migraine. I get migraines sometimes. So that's when you guys don't see me. That's probably what's going on. Michael is saying hello. Okay. And I guess Michelle. Hey, Michelle, I don't see you here. But hey, welcome. Y'all hit the like button for me, please. Now, you guys, here's the thing. Of course, everybody is going to be speculating as to why. I feel like, honestly, okay, so we know that in the last week or so, Diddy came up with this I'm not going to say it's ridiculous because it could have some legal standing. I just didn't think Supermanian is going to allow that to be enough to withdraw this case, or even what he's asking for the Mann Act. But I feel like this whole racial component, I just don't think there's a standing on that, right? But I also feel like Anthony Ricco, I feel like there's either two things, generally speaking, when you see stuff like this so close to trial, because you guys know anytime you're an attorney and you're in these big cases like this, you can also be sued for malpractice. So you really want to make sure if you withdraw from a case that you don't cause, I forget some of the legal terms, but that you don't cripple the person's case going forward, right? You can't withdraw so close to the time where all of a sudden the person is their case will be crippled, right? That's why you have to go through the courts and get approval and substitution of attorneys and withdrawal, because they need to make sure that this person, the defendant, has the proper legal representation, and that the attorneys don't screw up their case. Let's just say it like that. So I feel like there's only a couple of things that could have occurred. There could have been some infighting because, Mark Agnifilio is the lead attorney. So maybe Anthony Ricco was like in disagreement as to some of the things that some of the defense strategies that they were going to use. Sometimes there's a lot of infighting like that. Or y'all, this is what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that I feel like Anthony Ricco knows that, hey, this man is not going to win with the superseding indictments. I'm not even talking about these civil cases. I'm not saying who cares about those, but those are civil. That's not criminal. Whatever, that could bleed you dry. We're talking about the federal indictment, the thing that has him behind bars, the things that could keep him locked up for the next 20 some odd years. So I feel like, in my opinion, if I'm just looking at this, and we'll have to listen to legal strategists, I feel like Anthony is really saying, man, this is an uphill battle. He needs to take a plea deal. I'm feeling like Anthony just not want to throw in the towel, but being realistic, he could probably get a shorter sentence, take the plea deal, because really, come on, y'all. Do we see Diddy getting out of any of these charges? No. I mean, he might be able to, plead down. Some might get a lesser charges, but he's going to do time. And I feel like Ricco is saying, hey, y'all, we know the game. So anyway, that's what I think. I think it has more to do with probably infighting, and Ricco saying, hey, we know that this man is not going to walk. I've seen Ricco before, sometimes before they actually go into the hearings, he'll be out in front addressing the crowd, and he's very pro-Black and stuff like that. And he did talk about, the fact that they were trying to take a Black man down. I remember him speaking about that, but I feel like he knows that's not enough to get Diddy off. So D-Dot is saying nope. D-Dot, are you saying nope, that you don't think that's... Tell me what you think, because you just said nope. So I'm waiting to hear what your thought is. I just don't think that they know that Diddy is not getting off, okay? And he's saying we need to take a plea deal. That's how I see it. But let's look at the document. So we're going to go ahead and let me share the document just so you guys can see it too. It's not much because, again, he can't really say much, because he has to protect his clients. So this is the document. And it says the declaration in support of motion to withdraw. It's very brief. It was filed today. Anthony Ricco, Esquire, pursuant to Title 28, blah, blah, blah. I mean, all of that stuff we don't care about. We just want the deeds, right? We want the meat and the potatoes. On September 22nd, I was retained by the defendant, Sean Combs, to serve as his counsel. And I have served as his counsel since that time. See, the attorneys have to cover themselves as well. They got to say they did their due diligence. They weren't ucking around. They did the best, that they represented their client the best that they could, because they don't want sanctions. They don't want to be sued for malpractice. So that's why they give you the declarations that they did their job, right? As a result of being retained, a notice of appearance was filed in court on September 29, 24. This declaration is submitted in support of the annex notion of motion for my withdrawal as counsel. As is required, see, they have to tell the courts that they're, withdrawing, and then he lists, the statute and stuff. For the reasons set forth below, this motion for withdrawal is filed so that Sean Combs may move forward with his defense and to commence jury selection and trial without any delay. So we don't really know what it doesn't tell us why him being on the case would cause any delay, in my opinion, because of infighting or whatever. Reasons to be relieved as counsel. So usually when they withdraw as attorney or do a substitution of attorney or anything like that, they need to provide the court reasons. It could be a lot of reasons, but they still need to know that you have done your 100% best to represent this client. So he's saying, as a result of discussions with the lead counsel, Mark Agnifilio, this motion for withdrawal of counsel is filed. So I feel like it was in disagreement. I feel like there were disagreements. And I'm going to tell you why. Because when these attorneys So they don't go into these cases saying, oh, I have a change of heart, I don't think he's guilty, or I'm having some moral compass is changing. No, they go in knowing who and what they're defending. And Anthony Ricci, Ricco, we're gonna get into a little bit about him. This man has done defended murder trials as well. So it's not, to me, it's not about the character of the person, right? So I feel it's more about the technical aspect of this case, that he probably feels like it's a losing battle, and y'all just bleeding him dry because y'all taking this man's money when he should plead out. While I'm aware of the local rule requires that an application for withdrawal of counsel is supported and granted only upon showing by affidavit or otherwise of satisfactory reasons. See, you cannot just withdraw from a case and not make sure that this client doesn't have proper representation. Okay, so he's affirming that he's affirming he has sufficient reasons, but he will not disclose them here because he doesn't want to, prejudice the case against Diddy. He says there are sufficient reasons related to the protections afforded by the attorney-client privilege for brevity in my application for withdrawal as counsel in this case. Although I have provided Sean Combs with the high level of legal representation expected by the court, under no circumstances can I continue to effectively serve as counsel for Sean Combs, consistent with the ABA standards for criminal justice. Now, when he cites the ABA standards, that means that there's some information that he's privy to that basically he's saying that he just can't uphold. Generally, when they cite the ABA standards for criminal justice, like there are standards for attorneys and stuff. It's like if you find out something so incriminating or egregious, it will bar you from proceeding in this case. These are reasons why you would be able to withdraw as counsel. So he's saying consistent with the standards. So something has occurred, some information has been revealed or something. So he's just supporting his case there. This motion for withdrawal of counsel, if granted, will not result in a delay of the present. So he's, saying that my withdrawal will not hamper his case, will not result in a delay of the present schedule for the commencement of jury selection and trial, or the present schedules for briefing or pretrial legal issues. As a result, there will be no lapse in representation, as Sean Combs will continue to be represented by 5 other attorneys of record. So this again tells me that he's having some issues with the other attorneys, without violating any aspect of the attorney-client privilege or otherwise providing any details whatsoever on the grounds supporting the application. The government has been notified of the filing of the motion to withdraw as counsel. The government takes no position on the motion seeking withdrawal. They don't care. Wherefore, it is respectfully but regrettably requested that the court grant the relief. So the court has to approve in the annex notice of motion and permit counsel Anthony L. Ricco to withdraw as attorney of record. That's huge. That means this man, for some reason, he is like, up this, I can't continue. I feel like he feels like they cannot provide fair representation. The lounge has said a lot of times, you guys go follow the lounge on YouTube. She has done videos about this where she's always mocking fun of Mark Agnifilio, the lead attorney for this case. And I mean, in this instance, because remember, he was the one who came out and said, he got the baby oil from Costco, like stuff like that. So it lets you know that even though these men they have great legal wins in their repertoire, that to some degree, there can be little technical difficulties behind the scenes that people disagree with how they're handling this case. And I feel like Anthony is like saying, y'all know this is a farce, that he needs to plead. He needs to plead out. So we're going to go and we are going to take a look at Anthony Ricco's history so we know a little bit about him, right? Okay, so let me share this video. So we know that, let me see what you guys are saying. Okay, so let me go back. So I'm going to play a video so we know who Anthony Ricco is, because I didn't know a lot about him, but we're going to go back and look at his history to kind of see if we can get some understanding as to why this man quit. Exactly, D-Dot. Diddy is not getting out. And I think they know that. It's like, you need to do a plea deal. Maybe he could get 10 years versus 30. I mean, I don't care. Shit. He's done enough to probably be behind bars for a very, very long time. D-Dot says the reason why that lawyer resigned because he knows that what's about to come. That's what they're taking his money knowing you ain't going to win this. And I mean, lawyers do that all the time. That they're, again, like I stated before, attorneys are not always necessarily, they are there to get you off if they can, but they're also there to ensure that your rights are represented fairly. They're there to ensure that if you are facing a certain amount of time, that you're not getting more time than the law allows. They're there for a multitude of reasons. But in this instance, probably a plea deal would be better, right? Like, y'all know the superseding all of these, even though those other cases are civil, they're still going to prejudice the jury against you. It's a snowball chance in hell that this man is going to walk. And they're getting big, big, big money. And even with the plea deal, he still needs legal representation. So it's not like y'all can't not still getting paid, but do what's best for the client. Now, we don't know if Diddy is a bull and like, oh, hell no, I ain't taking no plea deal. I didn't do nothing. Delusional, sir. Delusional. You did something, but then again, y'all, look at what happened with ASAP Rocky. ASAP was like, I ain't taking no plea deal, and it worked out. But I don't think that's this. This Diddy situation is way, way different. Michael Miller says that lawyer backed out for a dang gone. Absolutely, Michael. We're going to look at his history. So we know that this man, he is considered one of the top 5 best lawyers. So this ain't no rinky-dink lawyer that I would have to hire, okay, out the yellow pages, which they don't have yellow pages no more, y'all. That's old school. Michael Miller says Diddy is one downright game over, game over. Yes, you guys, yes, please get the likes up. Please get the likes up. Hey, Chris Nicole, good morning. D-Dot is saying, hey, Chris, that lawyer took the money and ran. I don't think he took the money and ran. I think that he knows that Diddy's not going to win this. So it's time. He probably wants them to do a plea deal, and they're probably just not all on the same page. Michael Miller says that lawyer that quit wasn't. That's what I think. I really think that it's more to it. There's some infighting going on because, again, lawyers cannot easily, especially with a case of this magnitude, you don't just get to substitute out or just withdraw. You have, and he's not putting it in his legal papers, in the moving papers, because the client privilege, but he could face some penalties on the back end. Like, people just think that it's willy-nilly. It's not. These people, their law degrees are on the line. The sanctions could be there. You could be disbarred. So I don't think it's just no. D-Dot says he better take a plea deal, do the time. Exactly. Lulu says get the thumbs up, hit the thumbs up. Bradley Guevara says, again, I don't think they can win. Bradley, they're not. That's the thing. He's not winning this. And I believe this is the one standalone attorney that said, hey, y'all, we already know that this is not going to bode well for him. Let's plead. Let's take a plea. And the reason I even feel that is because as you get closer to the trial, that's when they start having these conversations. Like, they're probably behind the scenes offering him. And even if they're not, even if the prosecuting team has not offered, his team, the defense team could present it. Hey, you know what? We're looking at the evidence stacked against us. Hey, maybe we should go into a plea. So I feel like the representation may be a little shaky at this point. Not that nobody feels that Diddy should get off, but I don't know. D-Dot says the lawyer could have stayed and he could have. Exactly, D-Dot. That's what I'm saying. Y'all got to think about it on a broader perspective. He's part of a legal team. He could ride the wave. There's something that occurred to him or something that was disclosed where he's like, I'm just not going to be on with it. Because he could have, he could have gone all the way through trial and keep continuing to take the money. So it's more to it than that. So Bradley is saying 100%. Bradley Guevara says they scared. They still haven't told them what their plan of attack is over who their witnesses are. and how they can even that's another thing. I mean, as they get closer, to the date of the start of the trial, which I don't think it's going to start exactly. I think it was May 5th. I think they're going to have continuances. It's just so much. Now, when I first heard this, I was like, oh, this is a good strategy. If this attorney, because when I first read it, like I said, it was very early this morning, so I saw the news clip, and I said, oh, this is a good strategy. Let one lawyer quit, and then, because sometimes they do little sneaky things, and they could say, oh, we lost one attorney, so we're going to have to move the trial date and stuff like that. But as you can see here, his declaration states, with me even withdrawing, it will not impact jury selection, start a trial, or anything. So I was like, oh, well, that's not going to stand. Me says, God bless you all. Stay safe. Thank you. Please get the likes up. Me says, what's fitting to happen to Diddy now? I really wonder. Diddy's going to do time. I mean, he's not getting out. I know what happened with ASAP Rocky, but this is not that case. But anyway, you guys, I want us to hear what Anthony Ricco's record is and the type of lawyer he is. So let me go ahead and present. I want to share the screen so you guys can hear that this man is the real deal. Let's see. Okay, so we're sharing that. I want you guys to hear his record, the kind of attorney he is.
Including A-list lawyer Sean Diddy Combs forms a new legal dream team for his case, including A-list lawyer Anthony Ricco, as he seeks to be released on bond 2 weeks after his arrest. Anthony L. Ricco is a top-rated criminal defense attorney in the New York area who has been named to the Super Lawyers 5% list for 2021 to 2023. He was among the lawyers who defended the former attorney Lynn Stewart, who was known as the defender of increased defendants, one of them being a blind Egyptian sheik who was convicted and sentenced to life in prison for terrorism, and then was later convicted herself on terrorism charges brought months after September 11th for letting the sheik communicate with followers and lost her license to practice law. In a controversial case that remains significant in discussions about the intersection of law, terrorism, and civil rights, Ricco's role has been highlighted as an example of the challenges faced by defense attorneys in politically charged cases, as he stated. No lawyer wants to take a case that will ruin your career, but Ricco calls defending such difficult clients the highest calling for defense attorneys.
So did you hear what he said, what they said? No attorney wants to take a case that will end your career. So, and there are things that you can do as an attorney that can end your career. For example, people are talking about Busby. I don't think so, but some people are saying that the things that Busby was doing in terms of this whole fight against Jay-Z, not necessarily ruin his career, but there are things that could cause you some issues because all of the other cases now that he's representing clients, they've been somewhat tainted. People aren't going to look at them the same way now that he withdrew that case, that it's dismissed. So this shows you that these attorneys don't take these cases lightly. They have to think about their career too. You don't want one career-ending case ever.
2012, Anthony Ricco also served as the attorney for the former New York City Councilman Larry Seabrook, who orchestrated a broad corruption scheme to funnel hundreds of thousands of dollars in city funds to his relatives, friends, and a girlfriend through a network of nonprofit organizations that he ran. Subsequently, he was convicted on 9 counts and faced maximum sentences of 20 years on each of them. The now 72-year-old Tony Ricco teams up with Alexandra Shapiro, who has been called one of the best appellate lawyers practicing today, as the rap mogul lawyers have filed to appeal the most recent court order denying.
Now, Mark Agnifilio is, I believe his wife. Okay, well, his wife is the one representing that Luigi Mangione guy, the CEO shooter.
Denying him bond. The appeal will be his third formal attempt to secure his release from behind bars. As he awaits trial, Diddy was arrested 6 months after federal agents raided his Los Angeles and Miami homes as part of a sex trafficking investigation. The father of 7 has denied the various allegations made against him in this case and other civil suits. The rapper went on to plead not guilty to the charges, with his lawyer, Mark Agnifilo, later declaring the music producer is an innocent man with nothing to hide. Diddy's attorney.
So you guys are saying, nobody. Okay, wait. D-Dot says nobody can help. I know nobody can help Diddy at this point. This is a case where he is going to be fried. It is what it is. I think he should take the plea deal. We already know that. Bradley says nobody except Kanye. Kanye can't help him now. Kanye is facing his wife taking half of his estate. She talking about taking half the money. She talking about putting him in a conservatorship. And y'all, this clown did not have a prenup. So Bianca's about to take him to the cleaners. Bradley says facts. You guys, please get the likes up. Get the likes up. D-Dot says, yep. Michael Miller says Bugsby can get away with it because he's Caucasian. D-Dot says Jay-Z got, yes, I know. He got new allegations, a 54-page document. But you know what, D-Dot? Here's the crazy thing. He's being sued in other, I think it's 2 new lawsuits, but not related to any sexual misconduct or anything. But he also is launching a new royalty company where over with in the Philippines or Korea. This man has his hands in so much stuff. So now he's launching it's a startup company where regular citizens like me and you and y'all, we need to look into this. Hell, we might need some extra little money where citizens like us, fans, can invest your money and get the royalties. You know how they get the royalties from music and get a piece of that pie. Like celebrities can sell off their royalties, you guys. So I didn't know that was a thing, but we got to get into that. We got to be getting our little stocks up. Okay. I only got stocks in a couple little companies. We got to expand our portfolio. So we got to get on top of that, you guys. But yeah, right, it's different, and Jay-Z is cooked. Yeah, Jay-Z, he is in so many lawsuits. I don't even know how these companies are still doing business with him on that level, like millions of dollars, because the one lawsuit that he was named in, you guys, they talk about trafficking children. One of the companies that he is I think he's on the board of directors or something. I mean, it's a mess. It's really a mess, but we're going to get back to this talking about Anthony
proposed a $50 million bail package and no female visitors outside of family. If the court allowed him to stay in his Miami home until the trial. However, after hearing arguments from both the prosecution and the defense, U.S. District Judge Andrew Carter turned down Diddy's request for bail and stated the government has proven the defendant is a danger. Sounds like Diddy is building his own dream team of sorts in pursuit to get his name cleared off all allegations against him. Share, like, and subscribe as we share more info on the case.
So Diddy has 5 attorneys. Well, now 4, but they might be getting a new one. So he has a legal dream team pretty much. Remember how OJ they said the dream team? That's what Diddy had. Michael says it's all going down in May. It is going down, y'all. We got to be front and center. Too bad we couldn't be in the courtroom. I mean, it would be great if it's if they do like court TV and allow us to watch. You know, that would be great. Lulu says it's time to engage. Smash that like button for the live. Hit that like button, you guys. So yeah, Lulu says game over. You guys, this is crazy because at such a late date in the game for him to withdraw. Okay, so there's another video where they talk about it. So we're gonna y'all not have to go through the steps of sharing and unsharing. So let's look at this other video, and then I'm gonna let you guys go on with your day. This is crazy, right, you guys? This is like, what is going on, Diddy? What are you doing? Okay, let me see. I want to share this one right here. So let me move this down. Y'all, this is crazy how I got to go through all these different prompts to share the video. But hold on, let me get it for you. Okay, we're gonna present, share. Okay.
Dream Team to take on the federal prosecutor. Amid facing a staggering amount of new sexual assault allegations, Sean Diddy Combs is prepping for the trial of his life and assembling his own version of a dream team to take on the federal prosecutors in his sex trafficking case. On Monday, Combs' attorneys filed a third request to appeal his detention order. That order requires the Bad Boy Records founder to remain in jail until trial. But in those new court documents...
And so here's the thing. So this video is talking about Diddy hiring death penalty attorney, which is Anthony Ricco. So if he's a death penalty attorney, so he's used to defending people who have committed unalivings, right? So I know it's not a moral, it's not his moral compass or anything. I believe it has to do with the plea deal. He feels they are not giving him the fair deal. And Mark Agnifilio, he's probably at odds with him. Like, come on, man, you already know where this is going. We still gonna get paid, but you're taking the wrong approach. That's what I think, y'all.
New names have been added to the hitmaker's counsel. And those new names who agree to join his team are legal giants who are up for the challenge. So who are they? Anthony Ricco is a well-established death penalty attorney. He reportedly led the defense in up to 45 federal death penalty cases. According to his bio on the Fordham Law University website, some of the notable yet controversial cases included Ricco serving on the counsel in the World Trade bombing conspiracy case and embassy bombing case in 1998. Some of his other cases included People versus Corey Arthur. Arthur was charged in the murder of the son of former Time Warner CEO Gerald Levine. Ricco was able to get the death penalty off the table and litigate Arthur's sentence to life in prison. He also previously represented the undercover NYPD officer acquitted in the 2006 killing of Sean Bell. According to his bio, he doubles as an adjunct professor of law at Fordham.
So this guy is not he's not no peon. He knows his stuff, and he's probably like, even though Mark Agnifilo is the lead attorney, he's probably like, I'm just as good as you in terms of I could be lead too. Because egos definitely get involved. He may have the best legal strategy. And he's like, sir, you are not doing this man's justice.
Has been practicing law since 1982. Another new addition to the Diddy defense team is Alexandra Shapiro. According to her firm's website, she's labeled as one of the nation's leading appellate lawyers, and her work is recognized in the reversals of both civil and criminal cases. She graduated from Columbia University School of Law in 1991 and began working as a clerk to Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg before going on to work in white-collar defense. Shapiro even landed her own huge wins in the Supreme Court and narrowed the scope of the federal fraud statutes to reverse the wire fraud convictions of Western New York developer Louis Simonelli and former Andrew Cuomo aide Joseph Percoco. She's also representing convicted cryptocurrency Teeny Garagos. Teeny Garagos is the daughter of the attorney to the Star's Mark Garagos.
Okay, so basically they're going through Diddy's legal team here.
Garagos, who famously represented the likes of Winona Ryder, Michael Jackson, and Chris Brown. But according to Teeny's bio, she's making a name for herself. She was a founding partner of Agnifilo and Trader and has defended clients in federal and state cases at the trial and appellate level. Her experience is in...
So one thing I think we're starting to see here is that Anthony Ricco is the only Black attorney on this case, which is interesting. And he is the only one at this point that is quitting. So that's another piece of the pie. To me, it matters, right? Especially since they're going with this whole racial, trying to talk about the fact that this is race bias and everything. And he's probably saying, no, take a plea deal. Be real here.
In defending and investigating allegations of sexual misconduct, and she's represented a number of people accused of sexual assault and sexual harassment. But on the flip side, she's also represented victims of sexual assault and violence. But her range doesn't...
Michael says the dream team is dreaming. They ain't dreaming. They bleeding this man's pockets. They already know what time it is. Most times when they go into cases like this, they can kind of predict the outcome. I mean, like you never know because the jury can just turn on you. You just don't know. But they know with this superseding, with the continuous buildup of new charges, sir, you're not getting out.
Just includes sex crimes. According to her bio, she's also defended a wide range of criminal matters, including securities fraud, wire fraud, public corruption, tax evasion, deportation, and narcotics cases. And of course, there's Mark Agnifilo, who seemingly has been the face of Diddy's defense team thus far. According to his bio on his firm's website, he's won acquittals in many of the most complex and difficult trials in America.
Now, he's the one who said that Diddy got the baby oil from Costco, which was a blunder. He said that publicly. First of all, you're supposed to fact check. Let's just say that. And usually it's not the attorney's job. It would be like the legal assistant, the secretary, all of those things. Like they would tell you, hey, look this up, depending on the case, find out some information. So somebody gave him some bad info that he got it from Costco. But the other part of that people have to also remember is, first of all, lawyers lie. That's their job. Their job is to lie, their job, or to manipulate the facts in favor of their client, generally the defendant. And also anything that they say, well, one thing that people will always say, anything that you say can be held against you. That's true. But when they're speaking to the public, and they're just talking to us in the media, that is not under penalty of perjury. So oftentimes people will say, oh, you lied. Just like the guy said Jay-Z and Diddy weren't friends. They can say anything to the public, to the media. They're not, they don't have to tell us the truth, but it's once they're in court or once they're in deposition, once they're in discovery, once they file documents, that is when it matters, once you're under penalty of perjury. Other than that, they're just talking out of their ass to us. They don't care. They'll tell us anything. What do they care?
America. In the past several years, he secured 3 acquittals in cases ranging from assault to international tax fraud to political corruption, and has tried more than 200 cases over his 30-year career. With all 4 combined legal experience, it seems they're all up for taking on a music mogul accused of sex trafficking. As Diddy faces another hearing slated for next week, we can expect his new additions to argue for bail once again. But will it be successful? Well, that's up for a federal judge to decide if third time's the charm. There are a lot of difficult stories that we cover here at Law and Crime, and part of the reason we're able to keep bringing you these types of stories is to 7-Eleven, got former prosecutor Florina Altschuyler. Now, Florina, I really appreciate you joining me today. Diddy has hired some pretty heavy hitters to join his defense team. Is it significant to you at all that he added a well-established death penalty attorney to his case, that being Anthony Ricco?
Certainly, he's not charged with any crimes that expose him to the death penalty. But anytime anybody is charged with a crime, especially somebody with significant money, they're going to hire established attorneys with experience, and they're going to hire a team of attorneys.
And he also added Sam Bankman-Fried's attorney, that being Alexandra Shapiro. What do you make of that addition to his team, given she's still representing Sam Bankman-Fried and he's reportedly housed in the same unit as Diddy?
That's actually not all that surprising. Oftentimes, defendants will speak to other defendants. They'll have exposure to other defendants while in custody, and will sometimes, by recommendation of other defendants, hire an attorney that is representing one of them. I've many times seen clients hire the same attorney as somebody else that's in the same cell block with them, just because of references. It's not much different than how people find their estheticians or their physicians or pick the gyms that they go to. It's by word of mouth.
And just looking through their bios, they all have very well-established careers, each in their own right, of defending clients accused from different ranges: assault, sex crimes, white-collar crimes, death penalty cases, etc. But in your opinion, what will make Diddy's case different in terms of defending?
The biggest issue with his case is the number of alleged victims that are coming forward. And
yes, shout out to Lulu again. Please go follow her on YouTube. She said, if your crown is tilted, baby, fix it, flex it, and keep it moving. So yeah, Diddy because I was wondering why he would hire a unaliving attorney in this instance. But like she said, the number of people that are coming against him, he definitely needs a dream team. Y'all, please get the likes up. Let's get the likes up, y'all.
Normally, when you have a case of one complainant against one defendant, instances of prior situations with other complainants are not going to be relevant. They're going to be entirely too prejudicial, and they're not something that's going to come into evidence at trial. Think of the Weinstein case where they did, and then the case in New York was reversed because of those three other women's incidents that came into evidence and the court determined were entirely too prejudicial for purposes of determining whether or not he committed the offense charged with that one. In this case, what I expect is going to happen, at least on the civil end, is there's over 100 different complainants coming together, suing together, almost like a class action lawsuit, which for purposes of a sex crime is really unique. And that's going to allow all of that evidence cumulatively to come together in one case. I would not be surprised. In fact, I fully expect that
Y'all, just like she's saying, this is almost like a class action sex suit. We've never seen nothing like this before. I mean, there have been multiple victims, but this is just almost unprecedented. I don't care. There's really just almost impossible for Diddy to beat this. I can't see it. It would have to be a huge technicality, something that is just, I don't know, that Jesus himself walked on the water and said, nope, it's not going to work. Other than that, he's fried.
In the criminal case, the same thing is going to happen because he's charged with sex trafficking. And so they're going to be able to put into evidence before the same one jury this long list of women and men who are the victims of his actions. And that, while it's overwhelmingly prejudicial, is relevant to the charges. And so it's going to come in and it's going to be really difficult to overcome. You know, I've had clients who have had this slew of charges.
She just said it's going to be difficult to overcome. There's so much evidence against him. It's going to be difficult for him to get over this. You guys remember, even in the R. Kelly case, that the whole sex trafficking, that is one of the things that put a nail in his coffin, because some of those cases have been so old, but it was the bringing people across state lines and all of that stuff. And the underage, oh my, this is, no, Diddy, you're not getting out.
For factual reasons under those circumstances are able to be brought together. And I explained to them, listen, I could beat the first, I could beat the second, maybe I could even beat the third. But when you have 27 different ones, we're just not going to be that lucky. After a certain point, there's this tipping point, and it's just too many people saying the same thing that the jury is not going to find reasonable doubt.
That's the thing. I mean, oftentimes, like, reasonable doubt, yes, if there's reasonable doubt, that's what's going to get you off. Remember in the ASAP Rocky case, one of the jurors, and y'all remember the other day we were talking about it, and Nick at Night, she took her video down because TMZ purchased the video. So, you know, and she was going to strike the channel. So I'm glad we didn't find it. But what the juror said, that based on the jury instructions, they just could not do it. And if there's any doubt, reasonable doubt, then, you know, you can't. So this is what she's saying here as well. It's just going to be too many cases where people are going to say, listen, 50 people ain't lying on you, sir. Maybe 2, 3, but this many, that's what's going to really hurt his case. And
I think that's going to be his biggest issue, unless he's somehow able to convince a judge to separate those claims and keep the different complainants apart. But given the nature of the charges, I just don't see how that's going to be possible.
And given their kind of range of experience in the criminal defense world, what are your thoughts also on how that'll kind of play into the appeal process? You know, they're already appealing his bail order right now. They're hoping to go for a third time, hoping that Diddy will get bail. But how important is the appeal process all throughout this, even given that we're not even at trial yet?
So every good trial attorney has to have a keen ear for appeals. Everything that we do in preparation for trial, during our oral arguments, and during the trial itself is to preserve the record for purposes of appeal and to preserve any legal issues that come up where there might be a ruling that we believe could be reversed. The best thing to do, which they're doing, is to have a team of attorneys, because a trial attorney is not always an appeal attorney, and an appeal attorney is most certainly not a trial attorney. And so,
and she's giving good and valid information there. That's just like in the Tasha K case, where Tasha K, when she was doing the defamation case, she didn't have a lawyer that was experienced in that. I believe her person, Elga or Osa, whatever her name was, maybe she was a criminal or something, but whatever it was, she wasn't experienced in that area or that field of law. And that matters. That's huge. And so that's why he probably has a team of 5 that each have their own level of expertise.
when you have a team of attorneys with different specialties, you can have appellate counsel watching, overseeing, and identifying those issues.
Yeah, but this is an older video. We were pretty much like examining why he got Anthony Ricco on his team and looking at his team of attorneys. Yeah, he never got the bill. That's not even up. The only thing now, like they're saying, is as they go through trial, approach trial, are there going to be any areas for an appeal, right? Like she's explaining now. So, I mean, we know he's going to be convicted of something, but then what kind of things can he appeal on? Which I don't even think it's going to matter. I think that they need to plea deal
As they come up. You can also have that appeal attorney counseling the trial attorney to highlight things that trial attorney may not know to argue and to preserve. Without the two working together, that trial attorney has to also be an appellate expert, which is not often the case.
And you said something interesting. You said team. Now, some are also saying this is kind of Diddy's version of setting up like an O.J. Simpson like dream team. What are your thoughts on that kind of comparison?
Elizabeth, I've been thinking that our entire conversation. That's absolutely correct, and that's a great point, right? You know, O.J. Simpson had someone who was an expert in DNA. O.J. Simpson had someone who really was able to hone in on racial issues. He had excellent trial attorneys. He had excellent writers, excellent appellate attorneys. You have to have that team come together to collaborate, especially in a case where the volume of evidence is going to be so great that it is just time-wise impossible for one attorney to have the.
D-Dot says, you said he could face up to 20 more years. Really? I haven't seen that. I've heard that he was facing up to 20 years already. But I think you're right that they said with each, and honestly, I don't know how to calculate, but we'll get to that at some point because it's all going to be on the table. But so you heard he could be facing up to 20 more. Okay. Wow, he's not. I mean, he's not getting out.
The hours in the day and the days in the year to review everything. And, I have cases sometimes where the case that I am trying right now, 6,600 jail calls. There's not enough minutes in the day or days in the week to be able to sit there and listen to them. You need to have support. You need to have additional humans to go through all of that evidence. In federal cases, I get discovery on disks that are in the terabytes of data.
See, that's another thing. That's why I think this case, I don't think it's going to start in May 5th, because there's so much from, what they're telling us, that there was so much footage retrieved from his houses when they did the raids. Like, I just can't imagine that I don't know why he wanted to fast track it. Well, I do know why he wanted to fast track it, because he thought that the faster he gets to trial, the quicker he's going to get out. But it's just going to make it harder for his attorneys to put together a good defense.
It is just too much for one person to be able to do, regardless of how brilliant they may be.
And as the attorneys are appealing that bail order and going hopefully to get Diddy bail for now a third time, do you think that'll be successful?
Unfortunately, I do not. Federal law as it comes to bail is not the same as state court law. Now, in state court, you can argue whether or not
Now, see, she was even predicting this before he went up for that third time. And so he's paying his attorneys and they're doing all these quote unquote legal strategies when most of those legal, legal analysts said they probably wouldn't grant it on the third try either. Like there had to be a major change or something substantial. So they're really just taking this man's money.
the person is a flight risk, argue that they are not a flight risk, and either get them released on their own recognizance or have bail lowered. In federal court, flight risk is a question to be addressed. However, the judge is allowed to, can, and should consider the nature of the charges. And in this case, the nature of the charges is bad. It's really bad. You have to consider the number of alleged victims, the time span of the crime, and the gravity of the incidents that are alleged. And based on that, I am not at all surprised that a federal judge is holding him in custody, and I would not expect him to change his mind and release him.
All right, Florina, I really appreciate your insight into this case. Before I sign you off, anything else you'd like to add?
I think this is going to be an interesting case that's going to have to go to trial because I just don't see how the government is going to offer a plea that's not going to involve prison time. And I don't see Diddy taking a plea that is going to involve prison time. So this is definitely one to watch.
All right,
So there we even have it where she's talking about a plea that she said there's not even going to be a plea deal that won't involve prison time. So his attorneys, they know that you're going to do time. A plea deal is generally going to shave off a significant amount of that time. So why not take it or at least offer it? Bradley says, how is he paying the lawyers if he seized his assets? I don't know that his assets have definitely been seized yet. Me and the lounge, we read we actually read a pleading. I forget what the title of it was, but they were forecasting what could happen. I haven't seen anything where the assets, because at this point he has not been found guilty of anything, and I haven't seen anything where they would have seized his assets. But there was a document that was talking about the forfeiture of things, but that was projecting what could happen if certain elements where he was found guilty. So y'all, I just wanted to come and give y'all an update. I know everybody's going to be talking about this. This is breaking news. Why did his attorney quit? Especially the one Black attorney, right? And I really feel like it's because this attorney is saying, y'all, we know this is an uphill battle. We are not going to be able to overcome the evidence against him. Let's talk about a plea deal. He probably has a different strategy and he's going against the other four and they're like not having it. I mean, that's what I think, you guys. It's only so many things it can be, and in order to withdraw, you have to have a reason as to why that the courts would approve of, so that you don't cause yourself some penalties or something. So I really just think that this attorney is trying to do some justice and say, dude, we're losing every day. You get new cases. We're finding out different things. And clearly there's something, because he cited the ABA standards. And so to me, that sounds like there's something that he knows and he's like, I'm not with it. So anyway, y'all, we are right at almost an hour. So I'm going to go ahead and end it here. And I will see y'all on the next video. Now, if you guys don't see me, it's because this migraine is kicking my butt. But I plan to be back later today. And when I come back later, I want to get on camera so we can laugh and kiki. Because it's Friday. It's Friday, y'all. We want to have a good time on Friday. So anyway, you guys enjoy the rest of your day. And I will see you later. Shout out to D-Dot. Shout out to Bradley. And my co-host, Lulu's World, Michael Miller, Chris, let's see, and me. Thank you guys. Thanks to everybody who jumped in the chat. I will see y'all later. Have a blessed day. Oh, y'all, I forgot. I'm supposed to be saying my little tagline. Life is not a one size fits all. So do you, boo. Do you. All right. Bye.